Hey guys, I'm Mundred here. Today I'm doing a video on a cold air intake. It's a AF Dynamic. I ordered it on Amazon. It was actually recommended by a website I was following. Had really good reviews and stuff online too. Tons of great stuff. So this is going to be unboxing it, and then the next part of the video is going to be me putting it in the car. So here we go. We got my assistant Noya hanging out on the table. All right, let's check this thing out, see what it looks like. See how cool it's gonna be, because we're all about cool cars. Oh, get ready. Get ready! Hope you guys are ready. Oh, look at that. Oh, got a little book, there's a little sticker right there, it looks like. Some, a heat shield type thing that's going to go somewhere on there. It's got some instructions there, which is always nice to see. Got some paper to package it, keep it safe. Cat's going to love that. All right, and then here's the actual air filter. What's this? Dear valued customer, I'd like to thank you for your purchase. Well, that's nice of them. Very good. Lets me know to give them a call or give them a message on Amazon if there's a problem. So hang on to that. There's that high flow air filter. It's washable, reusable, all that stuff there. It looks pretty decent. Little package of the hardware. We got our band clamps, got some weather stripping trim, got some couplers right there, little screws and mounting things there, it looks like. That's pretty nice. And then, oh man, there's lots of pieces of this. Here's a plate. Looks like it's probably one of the air filter plates to block off from the actual engine bay. Yep, oh, that's nice. Solid material there, so that's good. Again, more of it there. The air filter goes through, things like that. So that's looking pretty nice so far. Got a filter cover, stainless steel cover that goes around the top of the filter in the engine bay. Just make it look nice. And then here's the actual intake tube itself. So this did come in different options. There was black, chrome, and I went with red. The car's black with some red accent stuff, and it looked like plastic when I ordered it, but it's aluminum. It's painted, got the holes for the different sensors and things like that there. Pretty nice. Put that back in the bag, keep it from getting chipped up. And then here's the long tube that goes across the back of the engine bay and connects to the actual turbo. Kind of like that, but pretty sharp, guys. Looks good. All right, initial impressions. This is actually a pretty nice little kit. Feels sturdy. It looks nice. It's painted or powder coated probably is what it is. It's got some quality parts to it, so I'm pretty excited to get this put in and see what it does in the Focus. All right guys, today we're going to be doing two different things to the car. They're both right in the engine bay. Should both be pretty simple. I'm going to be doing the air intake system, so replacing the factory air intake back here with my AF Dynamic system, and then we're doing a Sound Symposer Delete. The Sound Symposer is this little tube that comes off of the intake and pumps sound into the cabin of the car. Supposed to make them louder or sound more aggressive, but we don't need that because we're doing a bunch of aftermarket upgrades and stuff to the car, so it's going to be plenty loud on its own. So we'll get rid of that while we're in there today. So that's what we'll be doing. All right, we're going to start by just pulling the cover off here. It should just pop up and out. I've never had it off, but yeah. It just got some little grommets and things that hold it on. These little grommets here. Just hold it on to these little tower pieces here. So we got this little engine cover that we're gonna put off to the side. And then we can get started unbolting and disconnecting all of this stuff for the intake right here to get that replaced. And the AF Dynamic air intake kit did come with a little instruction book with a parts list explaining kind of what everything is. And then it's got kind of some instructions on how to mount everything, how to disassemble your old one, how to put it in. So I'll probably be referring to this a little bit today as we do this to make sure everything goes smoothly. And then to pull this apart, the airbox has these 8mm nuts. There's like one way down there, and that's gonna let us take the top off here really quick. And then we're gonna definitely have to take off this hose clamp. Looks like there's a screw down there, this hose clamp, and then this kind of bolts on randomly throughout here. Here's another hose clamp, and then this back here probably connects to the intake on the back side there. So that's what we're gonna pull off here really quick. Then once those 4 nuts there unscrewed, you can take the top of the airbox off, and that's the assembly we're gonna pull out and replace along with all that right there today. And then once that's off, I'm gonna take out the nuts here, and then there is, down there, you might be able to see it, the screw clamp holding the intake onto the, like the turbo down there, or the intake pipe, and we're gonna disconnect that and pull that out as well. And we should be able to lift that whole piece up. And another time where this trim tool is gonna come in handy, disconnect the wire out of this little hole right down here. I'll just insert it here. I'm gonna pry it out. I've already got it kind of out like that. We'll get it out of the hole right there. And then now we can pull that sensor plug off. And I will say, so far, this is gonna be the most frustrating one to get to right down there. Even putting it together, just because there's not a lot of room. I may pull this expansion tank out to give me a little bit more room to do this, just because I've got, you know, pretty big hands, so getting down in that tight space is just a little tough. I tried coming in from the front, so I might just move this out of the way. It's just a matter of, it's got like a little thing there, thing here, and it's kind of just clipped on right there. It just kind of holds on, so you can pop that out pretty easily and get it out of the way. So I might do that. It's important. Make sure if you do, pull off this hose here. You could probably leave the bottom hose connected. It's just a rubber hose that goes over to the engine over here, so we might do that quick. So I did go ahead and just move that expansion tank off to the side. It kind of clips onto these little hooks right here. You can kind of pry them a little bit or just wiggle it and it'll come off for you. Again, just make sure you disconnect the hose that goes here, but be careful so you don't run stuff out of there. And I just got a shop rag here on the end of the other hose because the coolant will try to come out and drip through there. You can see it's getting a little wet from coming out that way, but gives me enough time to get right in there now. And just something to note, this here is also a screw down for the air intake. So you'll have to take this out. It just it unthreads. You can use a socket there, or a pair of pliers, whatever. And then just pull that out like you did the rest of them to give you the ability to lift this out of here. So then I've got this part all taken apart. I pulled this part out. And then on the back here, there is gonna be this little tube that goes up there with the sensor and stuff on there. You're gonna have to disconnect that so you can pull this the rest of the way out. And it looks like you might just squeeze the sides here to get it. I'm not gonna be able to do it with one hand. We'll get that out here really quick and then continue on with this install. And now we've got the old air intake system removed. There's the crankcase or PCV valve, and we're going to take out this housing next. But there's the old assembly right there. So on to the next part, we're going to be pulling this out here, which looks like there might be just a couple bolts, perhaps. We'll find out. Maybe there's no bolts at all. It might just be sitting down in some grommets here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the Symposer Delete. I'm doing the intake at the same time, so I've got easy access to all this stuff. Some of you guys may be doing this with your intake and stuff in the way. It still works the same way. Like I said, I just happen to be doing my intake at the same time, so it's going to make this super easy for me to get to that hose, remove everything out of there. But the Imposer, sound imposer, is just a little device that comes off of the intake on the car, like right here. And what it does is it takes this tube here and it pumps sound up into the car right there. That's probably great if your car's quiet and stock and makes it sound a little sporty. But I'm doing a new downpipe, new intake. I'm gonna have a catback exhaust system on here. I've got a blow-off valve. My car is gonna be plenty loud without pumping extra drone sounds into my car. So I'm removing that. It's super inexpensive. Here's kind of the thing right there with the part number and stuff on there. Looks like it's just a couple bolts that hold it on, and then 2 bolts that put this one into place. This one here does come with a little vacuum port if you wanted to hook up a second vacuum gauge or something like that. Or it comes with a thing where you can block it off. I am not gonna be hooking up another gauge, so I'm just gonna block it off. Get it out here and show you guys what it looks like really quick without hopefully dropping it. Yeah, so the Symposer Delete is just this little like block off plate here. You can see there's a hole in the center, and that is if you wanted to install like a vacuum gauge. You've got a little nipple you can put in there. I'm just gonna use the plug and plug it off because I'm not gonna use a gauge off there. I just want to block it off. But that's what's gonna go in place of that big system right there. The Symposer kit comes with the block off plate, a plug for the center, a nipple, like I said, if you wanted to use a vacuum gauge, a little zip tie, and a plug for on the firewall of the car, as well as some instructions that explain to you how to do this job. And there's just 3 8mm bolts that hold it on. After those are out, this pops off like this. Now I'm gonna slide out of the way. And like I said, I'm removing this entire thing since I've got my intake out anyway. Looks like this is maybe mounted onto here, so I'm gonna grab some Allen screws and pull that out so I can pull that all out. And then from here, literally just gonna pull it out of the firewall. Little plug here came with the kit. Just pops into the firewall there. And then I'm gonna put the block off plate on here, right down here. And that's it. Sound Symposer Delete complete. Simple, guys. To give you an idea, there it is with the hose all the way removed. It was just an Allen wrench there, then one little plug thing right there again, handy dandy trim tool, and then there's the Sound Symposer setup right there, and replaced by just this little plate right there, and then a plug on the firewall. So that's how you do your Symposer Delete. Super simple, guys. Now we'll finish the intake. All right, so then putting in the AF Dynamic intake kit wasn't hard, but it's kind of, the instructions aren't good, but just take your time. Pay attention to kind of what you're doing. I started at the back end and attached it to the actual turbo intake on the car, and then worked my way back up towards the air filter box. The instructions kind of said to do it backwards, but I had heard people struggling with getting the tube then attached on the back side here, because again, there's not a lot of room back there. But I went ahead and started there, and then just kind of worked my way up this way, attached that crankcase PCV valve thing back there, hose, air filter, the air box and everything. Yeah, it's a nice looking little kit. I've heard it works really good. I'll take it out, get some driving videos and stuff. It's super windy right now, so today I'm not too worried about it, but it looks good. It looks much better than that stock one. It's a lot larger tube than that stock one. The stock one was very restrictive. Here, there's kind of what the stock one looks like. You can see it's super restrictive. Where that one's nice big 3-inch hose or intake aluminum tube all the way back, and this is just like a plastic, but super restrictive compared to a lot more open. The air filter itself, I mean, you could put a different filter on there if you wanted. I did put this little cover on there. You don't have to. You could leave that open. But overall, not a hard job. It did take me, a couple hours, but I also did the Symposer Delete at the same time, which that only took, honestly, 5 minutes. The hardest part, the thing that took the most time, was just figuring out which screws I had to use where, which parts, because it came with a bunch of different screws, a bunch of different little adapters and stuff, and I didn't need all of them. So it was kind of just piecing it together, figuring out what worked for my car. But yeah, it's all together. I'll take it out and test it out here tomorrow. I drive it to work. So hoping to hear it. I've heard that you can hear the turbo spool up a little bit better using this air intake system, so that's exciting because I couldn't hear it at all before. But that's the next part that's done. I do have my downpipe coming for the car, so I'll be doing that. I'll be doing the rear motor mount. I've got a new intercooler coming, a Whoosh 4.5 inch thick intercooler for the front to replace the stock one. I'll be doing videos for all that stuff coming up soon. I do have a Cobb access port coming as well, so I can do some custom tuning on this, or just have a custom tune made for me, probably. Get some more horsepower out of it. It's already a fun little car. Honestly, it's probably more fun to drive than my Corvette. Shh, I didn't say anything, Corvette, I'm just kidding. But for real, this car is super fun. I'm excited to get all the tuning and mods and stuff done and take it out and make some videos for you guys. So until next time.